Welcome to After the Letter, our companion conversation following this week's reading of the Screwtape Letters by C.S. Lewis. If you've just joined us, one of us has narrated today's letter while the other is hearing it for the first time. Together we explore what stood out, what challenged us, and why Lewis continues to speak so powerfully to readers more than 80 years after these letters were first published. This week's guiding question is: can worrying about tomorrow prevent us from living well today? What stayed with you after hearing this letter?
I feel like I'm being interviewed.
You are.
Well, it follows on from the last one about uncertainty and anxiety, being uncertain about the future, talking about a war, the patient, then wondering what might happen to them as these things are happening around them. What I took from this letter was about where do we put our attention? Is it planning? Is it imagining? Is it distraction? Is it avoidance? To be thinking about what if? To be thinking about the unknown? I still struggle with that. I think being prepared is good, but sometimes the line gets blurred. That was my impression that was what this letter was about.
Yeah. So what about the idea of living in what if? Living in the future? Do you think it's easy to spend today's energy worrying about tomorrow's possibilities?
There is a certain amount of thinking ahead that is useful and is necessary, is being prepared. It's a great way of distracting oneself. I find it difficult to know at what point to stop planning or thinking ahead and then just begin doing.
Yeah.
A lot of us get caught up, whether it's anxiety or whether it's possibility. So it doesn't always have to be about thinking ahead about bad things that could happen. It's also about thinking about opportunities and possibilities, and then almost getting frozen by there being too many options, too many choices.
Yeah.
I just think that we're living in a really complex place in our heads. You know, we see too much. There's too many options at the supermarket. There's too much choice on the shelves. Decision overwhelm.
That's Screwtape's aim, isn't it?
Yeah.
His aim is to keep the patient's attention permanently fixed on possibilities rather than responsibilities.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, yeah. And that could be the daily responsibility like the patient had in the last letter about looking after his mum or thinking about his community. And with stuff that is maybe anxiety causing, it's a lot easier to live in your imagination than actually be confronted with, okay, it's on my doorstep now, what do I do? That idea of charity begins at home. What kind of person do I want to be? I could picture myself being courageous. I could picture myself being sturdy or this or that, the other. But it's all well and good imagining that. It's another thing to actually start practicing it here and now.
And I know that this is something that you're really good at, and you've demonstrated this to me many times, and you've said it as well, that if I can paraphrase this here, we can't be kind tomorrow. We can't make tomorrow's decisions today. Yeah. So living in the moment, I think, is the way that you put it. And I would add that the future doesn't exist and the past is only a memory. But it's the memories of the past that create the emotions in the moment that make us plan for the future. 2/3 of that equation is meaningless because there is only now.
Yeah, the things that we've imagined might never ever happen, but we're spending all that energy missing what's going on right now, where we do actually have some control and some agency and some ability to do something meaningful.
Yeah.
And I think I was just going to say that's something else that I picked up in the letters, that just keep the patient thinking about later or there, rather than steeling themselves and kind of having faith that without knowing all of the answers, that it is possible, I think, to put one foot in front of the other and still move towards the future.
Yeah, and I think in the letter, what C.S. Lewis is saying, he's not suggesting that we ignore the future. He's saying that love, courage, patience and faithfulness are always practiced now. Do you think that this feels modern? What modern aspects are there?
Oh, totally, because the whole idea is it's good to prepare for what you can, but then if we're always somewhere else, then what are we missing right in front of us? That's a universal idea. I don't think it's got anything to do with whether it's in the 1940s or the 2000s or right now. This is the only place that we can actually do anything. Yes, we can kind of be in our heads and try and foresee something, but there is definitely a difference between rehearsing and getting lost in our imaginations and our fantasies. We're missing what's right in front of us.
Yes, it's about attention, and circumstances can change, but I think C.S. Lewis was pointing out that the temptation doesn't.
Yeah. You can't ignore tomorrow, but...
No, you've got to plan.
Yeah.
You have to plan. It's important. But you can't live there.
No, you can hope and have a trajectory like a North Star or even just a direction, but then it means nothing if you don't take the steps today.
I find myself sometimes rehearsing conversations that haven't happened yet, things that happen in the future. I do that quite a lot first thing in the morning. Does that ever happen to you?
Sometimes, but I think I've got a head that replays a lot. I do find myself out of myself and somewhere else. I'm getting better at coming back into the present moment.
But do you feel that you can ground yourself quite easily?
I'm better with some things than others. I think we all are trying to find our own way, whether it's through mindfulness and meditation, putting our phones away, getting away from screen time, being out in nature. This book was written in the 40s, the stories were in the 40s. The circumstances change, like war, economy, having to earn a living, trying to have a family, relationships, all the things that kind of come in and out of our heads about the lives that we want for ourselves and the good and the bad that is around us, things that might be in our control and might not. But the temptations don't change.
I find that the temptations for me are worse and are stronger in the morning. It's almost like voices, arguments, trying to lodge me in a future that doesn't exist, based on emotions from the past. And I have to meditate in order to dispel that. I have to do it consciously, and I have to do it consciously every day. It never stops.
No. I heard something very interesting today, that more and more people are choosing to purchase dumb phones over smartphones. That gives me hope that people are kind of getting over it.
Yeah. Well, this could be one example where dumbing down is a good thing.
Yeah. Maybe we shouldn't be calling it dumbing down. I don't know what it'll be, but...
Dumbing up?
Dumbing, yeah. This has hurt my head a lot. It hasn't helped that it's very, very hot and I'm not getting enough sleep and I'm trying to figure out how to sound...
alert.
I don't know what I'm saying, audience. I think it's time for me to stop now.
Thank you, first-time listener.
Thank you, narrator.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of After the Letter. If you haven't yet listened to Letter 6 itself, you'll find it in our main playlist. Next week, Lewis turns to another fascinating question, this time exploring how even good causes can begin to shape our identity in unexpected ways. Until then, we'd love to hear your thoughts. What helps you return your attention to the present when your mind keeps running ahead? Thank you for listening.